The Turkish get-up is an exercise that we use in some of our warm-ups, but it's also a great exercise on its own to build resiliency in your shoulders and to learn how to link your upper and lower body. And it's a great way to actually build some conditioning as well too if you're doing it for multiple reps. The get-up is great because it doesn't require a lot of equipment, so it's just a kettlebell or a dumbbell, your body weight, or a sandbag. It's an awesome exercise that has a lot of benefits, especially if you're low on gear or run a lot of space. So I'm gonna go over the general technique for how to do this exercise, and then I'll go over some of the issues that might arise when you're going through it on your own. So again, as we go through the get-up, if I'm using the kettlebell, grab the kettlebell so that way your wrist is straight. Roll onto your back. Use both hands to help press the kettlebell up. My arm is straight and my shoulder's in the socket. I'm using my right arm. My right leg is out at about 45. My left arm's at about 45, and so is my left leg is straight. First move, I'm gonna roll to my elbow. So I'm gonna drive through my right foot, pull through my left hand, and post up on my elbow. Okay, next move, I'm gonna move my left hand back slightly, and I'm gonna post up on my left hand. My eyes still on the kettlebell. My next move, I'm gonna drive through into a high bridge. Okay? My next move, I'm gonna bring my free leg underneath, so that way my knee becomes somewhat close to where my left hand is. I can move the hips back into a hinge, and then step forward into a lunge. In the lunge, I'm looking forward for the first time, and my right arm is lined up with my ear. And from here, I'm just gonna step forward into the standing position. On the way down, I'm just gonna reverse that. So I'm gonna bring that free leg back. I'm gonna either windshield wiper my right leg to the side or move my left knee in, whatever feels best. I like the windshield wiper. Free hand's gonna come down to the ground in front of my free knee. Sweep underneath, high bridge, drop the hips, drop the elbow, roll into your back, both hands on the kettlebell, place it down in control. So that's the general technique for how to do the exercise. Things that to keep in mind as you're going through. First thing, I'll demo with this heavy weight. We want to learn to keep the wrist straight. So if I grab the kettlebell or the dumbbell with the wrist bent back, the rest of the lift's going to be kind of awkward. So grab so the way the wrist is straight. Next thing we want to see, the shoulder should be packed. So the shoulder should never be loose and the elbow should never be bent. So think about keeping the shoulder kind of sucked back into the ground and keeping that position the whole time through. So what might help with that would be hanging from a pull-up bar with the arm straight and thinking about pulling your shoulders down towards your ankles and seeing how that feels. Because that would be a way to kind of feel what it means to have a packed shoulder versus a loose shoulder or a bent elbow. Other issue we see is the knee caving. Okay, so when I move up and I see my knee cave, just think you would never squat or deadlift or lunge with the knee caving in. You can be a lot stronger with that knee lined up with the ankle and the hip. So keep that in mind. Other things we see. When people start to get up, you often see this happen. We'll kind of like crunch and punch, which we don't want. So it's not just an ab exercise, it's a full body exercise. So when I start, I want to think right foot, left heel, left hand, and left elbow are all pulling me to the side to get myself up. So you want to link everything. It's not just an ab exercise. So keep that in mind. You'll be a lot stronger that way as well too. Other issue with the shoulder. The bottom shoulder is the shoulder working the most, not the top one. It's important, but this one is supporting twice the weight. So we never want to see the shoulder point forward or cave in or the neck or the ear kind of come down to the shoulder. we want to think the shoulder's proud and corkscrewed back. So what may help to work on that technique would be getting into almost like a tabletop bridge and kind of corkscrewing the shoulders back and the chest up to feel what that means. So we never want to see this happening. Other issue, if you start incorrectly with this arm out to the side too much, when you start getting into it, you're going to want to cave. There's going to be some awkward stuff happening with your knees. So remember, this arm has to be lined up at the appropriate angle. As I go through and post up, remember same thing, keeping the corkscrew back, my eyes are always on the bell or the dumbbell. If my eyes go away, I'm putting myself in a bad position. High bridge, many people cheat this. So one of the benefits of the get up is getting that hip extension. So don't have the hips drop. Keep the hips high, which will allow you to bring the knee underneath. Okay. As we step through, this is the first time where I'm looking forward. If you don't have the mobility in your shoulders to get your arm lined up with your ear, it means you have something to work on. So that's why the get up is a great assessment tool as well too. It's going to point out some issues you might have in mobility or flexibility or stability. So if you can't get your arm here, if you load this over time, this could put your shoulder in not a great position and create some injury. So there's no need to go all the way up if you don't own that overhead position, which is fine. That's okay. As we go through, again, I would be lined up. This is stacked. We don't want to see the arm bending. The arm should be straight and the shoulders still sucked in and line up with the ear. On the way down, as I said, I would step back. I've got two options here. So option one would be windshield wiper, as I said, or turning the feet in. When I reach for the ground, I like to use my knee as a benchmark. If I grab incorrectly with my free hand, it's going to put me in a weird position for the rest of the descent. So landmark your knee, slide down your hip and grab in front of that knee, because you want to see your bottom arm stacked with your top arm, which will give you more space to slide underneath for the bridge. Okay. Drop to the hips, elbow, keep in that position, and then back down. So again, the main things we want to keep in mind: knees not caving, arms staying straight, shoulders staying packed. The eyes are on the weight for most of the lift until the lunge and the stand up portion of the lift. And when you lower back down, you want to protect your elbow as well too. So if this is my weight and I'm finishing, let's say this is 100 pounds, I don't want to just do this. So use both hands on it, bend the elbow, again set it back down as you would with a heavy weight. So again, there's many steps in the get up. Not everyone needs to go through to the very end. You could just work on the first part, the quarter of the get up. You could work to the high bridge. You could go to the lunge. And some of you may go all the way up and all the way back down. That's fine. But if you focus on going too fast and using speed, perhaps you're gonna shortchange the gains you could get from this exercise, because speed can mask a deficiency you might have. So go slow, see if you can dial it in with just your body weight, then a light weight, and if you get everything stacked, this is a great exercise that can, like I said, build some resilient shoulders, build healthy rotator cuffs. You're gonna get some lower body work in, some upper body work. We're using angles that we don't usually see when we're just doing bench pressing or overhead pressing or rows or pull-ups, which is great as well too. And again, if you do it for multiple reps, it's going to be a bit of a conditioning drill as well in just one lift. So again, something that doesn't require a lot of gear, that has a lot of benefits. Give it a shot. Hopefully this helps you out a bit.